Hey guys, no foiling today, no wind, no waves, but Surfskate. I've never used one before about 3 weeks ago and I am hooked. There's a lot to be said for these things. Fitness, fun, they're a whole heap of fun, but really cool that you can still crank some calves, mess around, a little bit like the feeling of being on a wave. Yeah, they're not perfect. Foiling and surf skate, there's still some crossover that's really useful for you to get a little bit more practiced for your weight distribution, carving your toe or your heel side, balance, all that sort of stuff. It's really cool. I am no way am I an expert. I'm just getting used to this thing. But one thing that I researched before I got it was to get the 360 front truck. It really lets you crank hard on those turns, and that's what makes it a surf skate rather than just a skateboard. Now this is a cheap model. I got it from a UK company. It's absolutely fine for my needs. But obviously the really well-known brands that you're going to pay a lot of money for will probably be better quality. You always get what you pay for, and it'll probably last a little bit longer. But at the moment, this one is doing me fine. Cost me around about £65–70. So let's just do a little bit, and then bear in mind I'm a beginner. Okay, so I was saying about weight distribution. On that particular one, I was lucky I didn't come off the front because I had too much front foot pressure. I suppose on the foil, that would be a little bit like burying the nose, too much front foot pressure. Similarly, if you're putting too much back foot pressure, you're going to skid the trucks out from underneath you. Foiling, you would just breach. I've changed the wheels on the back for just some slightly wider wheels. Gives a little bit more traction because I don't want it skidding out, sliding out at the back. But let's do a little bit more, see what happens. Okay, I know, technique, I'm not there yet, but I hope you can see what I mean. You can really carve around using the rails, like foiling, like surfing, and you push down, obviously on the rail, because of the 360 truck, I don't know if you can see this, because of the 360 truck, that will come right underneath, and you can carve it round hard, carve it back again. Now to do that, you've obviously got to lead with your shoulders, twisting. You've got to bend through the turn, come up, bend through the turn again. So from my point of view, I'm at the beginner stage of prone foiling and sup foiling. I do a lot of flat water pumping and I do a lot of wing foiling, but like I say, I'm really at the beginner stage of prone and sup foiling, and this is really an opportunity for me to just spend hours getting used to that balance, that shifting of weight, bending the knees to get into a harder carve, more stability. Makes a huge difference. You can style it and stay upright, you can bend right into it, and you can fall off. Okay, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but it feels great. It's good fun, a little bit of a fitness workout, and you're carving. What more can you ask for? I can do this pretty much any day of the week, regardless of weather. Obviously, I'd rather be out there on the water, but you know, when the conditions are right, I'll do that. I hope this gives people some inspiration, or at least something to laugh at if you're already into this and I've got it all wrong. Anyway, leave any messages, I'll see if I can reply to them. Otherwise, have a good time. Okay, so I've shown you a little bit about what I use them for and why I like them. Now I thought I'd really quickly explain the different models that are available, at least the ones that I've come across anyway. So the model that I've got is a very basic budget model. It's from a company in the UK called 2 Bare Feet. It's budget. I know it's not going to last forever, but I didn't want to fork out the top price for the really well-known brands until, first of all, I figured out whether I was going to enjoy it, and secondly, whether it was going to be useful for what I want to achieve. Having done that, because I really do love it, and it's great fun, and I think it's going to be really useful for me loads of ways. I'm perfectly happy to keep this one. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Like I say, I'm a beginner. It's a really good board to get into using this sort of thing without blowing a huge amount of money. Like I say, it's a budget board. It cost me £65. The top models are more than 4 times that amount of money. But personally, now I know I like it, I really do think that once this is sort of worn out, I will definitely be willing to pay the extra for one of the really good brands. This particular model is 31 inches long, 9.5 inches wide, and originally all 4 wheels were the sort of standard Surfskate style wheels, which are somewhere in between a longboard and a normal, what I call a trick skateboard wheel. The big difference though is the front truck. 2 Bare Feet call this front truck the 360-degree truck. It really does pivot around a huge amount both ways. With an Allen key there, you can, I don't know if you can see, there's a spring in there. You can tighten or loosen the spring to get obviously a looser or a tighter carving type feel. Standard rear truck, all of them have that. So this one here, budget model. The 4 big brands, you've got Smooth Star, Carver, Yow, and I think the 4th one is called Surf Swell. Now out of those 4, Smooth Star and Surf Swell are reputedly, arguably, the best at giving you that surf-like experience, as close to the carving, surfing type feel. So much so that I know for a fact that there's quite a few surfing coaches and pro surfers out there who the coaches use Smooth Star surf skateboards with their clients to give them a sort of like a background feel, lots of practice on the tarmac before you hit the water, and even after the water. You don't have to wait for waves, you don't have to worry about paddling in. When you're a beginner, you can just practice carving up and down the road anytime you like, as much as you like. So when you get on the water, there's less to think about, less to worry about. And for those pro surfers who use them, I expect they're using them to hone their skills on a particular move that they're working on, and really develop that skill. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with Carver and Yao, by the way. Carver have got two front trucks, the CX and the C7. The C7 is more like the 360 truck, and Yao, they have their own design. If you want to have a surf skate specifically or even partially for surfing training, then all the info out there, all the reviews, most of them anyway, suggest that Smooth Star and Surf Swell are the two best to train for surfing. But if you just want to, carve around and rip it up on the tarmac, just chilling or pushing it for fitness or whatever you want to do, then Carver and Yao would be absolutely phenomenal. And again, they are very good. They all have very good reputations for quality, durability, performance, that sort of thing. Just another word on the wheels. I changed the rear wheels for these slightly wider wheels to give me a little bit more traction, because at the moment in my beginner stages I don't want to, I want to reduce the chance of pushing the rear end of the board from under me. Maybe when I get a little bit better, but it didn't cost me anything, because I robbed them from my son's old nickel board. So, standard wheels, standard bearings. You can fit, I suppose you could fit longboard wheels on if you really wanted to, for a really grippy feel. These ones, you're going to get a little bit of slide when you want to. These ones you could push out if you want to, but it's harder. So there we go. Whether you go for the budget boards to begin with, or one of the more expensive ones straight away or later, I can't tell you how much fun they are, and really from the point of view of training to get that balance as you're carving around, they're second to none, really. Cool, so hope you found this interesting. See you later. One of the things that I'm working on is to stop flappy arm syndrome. I'm well aware that I'm doing this sort of thing. It's not stylish. So by practicing it a lot on the tarmac, I can actually, before I set off, I can go, right, I am now, next few runs, next few minutes, whatever, I'm going to focus on my arm movements, keeping them closer to my sides, using my shoulders, not my arms. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I fall off. But if I'm catching a wave, especially because I'm in the beginner stage of prone falling, I'm concentrating on so many things at the same time that it's just nice to be able to get that repetitive movement so I can build muscle memory, or at least get it dialed into my brain of what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, let's keep going, see what happens. Okay, pros and cons. You get to practice that carving round by pushing down on the rails, bending your knees into the turn, pushing down as you come out of the turn. All of that, rotation of the shoulders, leading the turn, that's all good, I think anyway. Cons, well, you're not in the water for a start. You're not 2 foot above the water for the next thing, and you don't have pitch control. However, in place of pitch control, there is, on a skateboard, unless you want to end up eating some of the concrete, you really do have to pay attention to front and back foot pressure. So it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than doing nothing. Cool. I'm quite impressed I haven't fallen off properly yet, so that's the last thing I want to say. I've only just stopped using pads because they're uncomfortable, it's hot, but the odd time I do fall off still, it's very painful. So be safe, have fun, and keep carving.